Welcome back to Movie Moshow. Today we are going to review the action-adventure film, Conan the Barbarian. If you like our content, don't forget to like and subscribe. We post multiple times daily. Spoilers ahead. In order to give a mask made of slain king's skulls the ability to rule the entire globe during the Hyborian Age, a group of sorcerers from Acheron sacrificed their daughters to the dark gods. The Cimmerians, headed by Charon, Ron Perlman, who shatters the mask, scatters the pieces throughout the continent, and keeps one for himself, defeated the sorcerers after slaughtering countless people during their struggle to rule the globe. The Cimmerians are at war with a rival clan years later. Despite being gravely wounded during the war, Charon's pregnant wife is able to give birth to a son, Conan, before passing away from her wounds. The fact that Conan was born on a battlefield and lived to adulthood is regarded as a potent sign. Conan, Leo Howard, develops into a fearsome but aimless warrior as a teenager. Charon brings the young Conan to his foundry and teaches him the riddle of steel after he returns from a warrior's trial carrying the severed heads of tribesmen. Conan maintains that he is prepared to use his own sword, but Charon reminds him that a blade must still be tempered with ice after it has been fashioned before it can be used. Charon completes making his sword and instructs his kid in correct combat techniques. The young Conan is an impatient learner who frequently lets his rage affect his studies. He is not yet ready to possess such a weapon, according to his father. Soon after, armored warriors with a massive, two-headed serpent symbol attack the hamlet. Collar Zim, the leader, confronts Charon and demands a portion of the mask, Stephen Lang. Charon is restrained and tormented when he refuses. Conan assaults one of the warriors, Lucius, Stephen O'Donnell, in a fit of rage and maims him by chopping off his nose. Zim adds the final mask component to the others he has already collected after finding it. He chains Conan and Charon to a molten metal pot that hangs precariously above them before setting the foundry on fire. Charon gives his life to allow Conan to escape, despite the futile efforts of his son to save his father. After failing to save his father, Conan was left an orphan with wounds on his hands. Conan emerges and claims a sizable sword as his own. Marique, Zim's daughter, had stolen his father's sword. A mercenary named Conan, Jason Momoa, is working with Artis, Nonso Inozi, a Zamoran pirate, 20 years later. The two men carry the captives to Messendia after raiding a slave camp. Over the past 10 years, the snake cult has expanded, and now it has a tiny garrison within the city. Conan finds Lucius, now a frail warden, chasing after a thief named Allah Shan, Sad Tog Maui, and he consents to being imprisoned in an effort to find out more about his adversary. Soon after breaking out of jail, Conan tortures Lucius to learn more about Zim and the snake cult. Following Conan's assurance that he will be spared, Lucius says that Zim is looking for the Acheron sorcerers who are pure-blood descendants since it is their blood that will unlock the mask's real power. Conan tells the terrified guard, "I only promised I wouldn't kill you," after concluding that he has extracted all of the information he can from Lucius. Conan then abandons him to the mercy of the freed captives. Allah Shan promises Conan that he can locate him in Arlagan, the city of thieves, if ever needed to repay the favor. Zim and Marique, Rose McGowan, in the meantime, attack a monastery where they think the pureblood is hiding. The senior priest Fasher, Rod Rawi, sensing something is amiss, orders Tamara Amalia Jorvikarashan, Rachel Nichols, one of his students, to go to her homeland before confronting Zim to give her time to escape. Zim describes how Maliva, his wife, was killed on Fasher's orders. Fasher argues in favor of this choice, stating that Maliva was a fanatical lunatic who wanted to use occult forces to destroy Hyboria. Zim murders Fasher by slamming his head on the marble steps in a fit of wrath at his defiance. Marique conducts blood tests on the remaining students and discovers that none of them are purebloods. Warriors from the snake cult attack Tamara's carriage. After a spirited chase, Conan successfully arrests their captain, Ramo, Milton Welsh, and then comes to her aid. Conan kills Ramo by catapulting him towards Zim's camp after forcing him to expose Tamara's significance and leaving a note for Zim to meet him alone at the Cypher outpost in his lips. Marique confirms that Tamara owns the fabric on which the message is written. Conan poses as a bounty hunter and offers to sell Tamara to Zim for a sizable amount of cash, confident that Zim won't recognize him. Conan exposes his actual intentions and challenges Zim to a sword combat after he is satisfied that Zim and Marique have arrived alone. Before Zim challenges Conan in combat, Marique, acting on her father's orders, engages Conan with sandcastle soldiers. At first glance, Conan and Zim appear to be about equally matched, but Conan's wrath gives him the advantage. Marique uses a boomerang knife loaded with poison to kill Conan, turning the tide of the battle in her father's favor. Conan is saved by Tamara, and they go back to Artis' boat, which is waiting nearby, where Artis tends to Conan's wounds. The snake cult attacks the boat and kills a number of the crew members before being driven off. Conan leaves to fight Zim in his country and gives Artis the order to take Tamara back to Messendia. Tamara follows Artis after hearing that Conan left a map behind, whereupon they make out in a cave. She is captured by the snake cult the following day as she is making her way back to the boat to join Artis so they can set sail. Conan travels to Argalan and employs Shan to assist him in breaking into Zim's citadel, keeping in mind Allah Shan's former pledge. They find an old mine beneath the stronghold, where Zim and Marik intend to sacrifice Tamara. Conan comes through an underwater cavern where members of the snake cult are getting ready to feed captives to the Dweller, a huge multi-headed serpent. Conan continues down the mine after killing the beast. Before they can complete the sacrifice, Conan confronts the snake cult, but Zim has managed to gather enough Tamara's blood to give the mask only mediocre strength. Zim puts on the mask and engages Conan in another battle while proclaiming his invincibility. Zim fights Conan with Karin's sword, but Conan eventually manages to wrestle it away from his foe. Unintentionally, the conflict causes an earthquake, which kills the majority of Zim's supporters and makes the mine unstable. Conan sets Tamara free and orders her to go. However, Marik is pursuing her. After hearing Tamara's screams, Conan throws Marik down a mining shaft where she is impaled by a post, killing her. Conan and Tamara search for another exit as the mine continues to collapse, pursued by a furious Zim. Eventually, Conan and Tamara find themselves on a rickety rope bridge that hangs precariously over a deep chasm. Tamara nearly falls as a support beam under her loses way as they cross the bridge. Conan tries to save her before the bridge collapses, but Zim has cornered them and has conjured Maliva's spirit using the power of the mask. Conan, in a show of defiance, uses his sword to cut through the bridge's supports before jumping to safety with Tamara. Zim is killed as the bridge collapses, causing him to fall. Conan sends Tamara back to her birthplace after the snake cult has been vanquished and promises to see her again. He then leaves for new adventures after returning to his former hamlet to tell his father that he had avenged his murder and retrieved the sword Zim stole from him. Thank you for watching and don't forget to like and subscribe.